Okay, hello everyone and welcome to another randomised gaming stream. My name is Random Gamer Riven, and in today's stream we are going to be looking at the absolutely fantastic Elevator Action Returns. A little bit of trivia, this game does not actually have any screenshots-ish on the back of the box of the games itself. It just actually literally has, well, it kind of has screenshots. It has the face art of the characters from the cutscene, but no actual pictures of the game. If a couple of games did that, it was a really, really bad idea. Okay, now I haven't actually uploaded our save, so unlock elevator action on title menu, press left, right, A, B, C, A. Okay, that works. Unlock extra lives grenade on title menu, press left, right, A, B, C, B, and left, right, A, B, C, C. That doesn't do anything. So I think we now have... Just so in case those cheats are, so yeah, so unlock original elevator action. If you haven't, you can unlock it if you just finish the game, but there's a quick cheat code. On title screen, press left, right, A, B, C, A. It's actually quite a nice easy one, and same with extra lives and grenade. On title menu, press left, right, A, B, C, B. The reason I mentioned those cheat codes, so yeah, you can adjust player life stock. And you can also adjust grenade stock. Those cheats are not on any site, so I think we're just standards. It's 3 lives, I think. It's 3. Or is it just the 1? Player 1 stock. So record on, off. There are some nice options for this. So yeah, you want to do that for the sub, violent level, normal. Normal or hard. Let's assume violent level. But yeah, there are a couple of additional cheat modes that I haven't actually ever seen shown. And there is actually a credits cheat. Hold Z plus C plus L plus R when starting a new game should give you 8 credits. I'm going to do that, but I'm actually only going to do 1 credit runs in tonight's video, just to... Just Z plus C and L. Yep, you get 8 credits. So hold Z, C, L, and R. I think there was a free play cheat as well we discovered looking at some of the Japanese websites. Or maybe not, I just gave you 8 credits. So each of the characters do play slightly differently. This, of course, was only released in Japan. It is a bit pricey these days, so it is hard to recommend. It is included on some of the collections, although you ideally want the PS2 version over the awful Xbox version. I'm not even sure if the PS2 version was properly complete. Some of the versions of this are wildly... I'm just going to pause it there a second. Some of the versions of this are wildly... Just turn the volume up a touch. Some of the versions of this are wildly incomplete. So this game is, of course, actually it's technically Elevator Action 2, although I think it's also partly arguably a remake. Although it's a complete caution, yeah, if you don't... So you'll notice I'm shooting out the lights and everything's going dark. A lot of versions of the emulated version. Now here's a little thing. MAME, I don't know if it still is, does not have a proper dump of this game. As a result, you won't get some of the visual effects like the lights popping correctly because MAME does not have a complete build yet, or at least it didn't have when they did some of the emulated collections. As a result, some of the emulated collections literally told you they were MAME on a disc because the issues that you had with them were the issues you had with the main version were present in... were literally present in the collection emulated versions of this game. So this is a fantastic running gun, arguably one of the best on the Saturn. It's a little bit more serious than Metal Slug. perhaps arguably the gameplay is a little bit tighter on this than Metal Slug. If you shoot out the lights, as you see there. And I have actually 1cc'd this. This is not a hard game to 1cc, but it has been some time since I've 1cc'd it. You can shoot out the security cameras as well. Throw a grenade, they basically do you also knock them unconscious when you're right next to the enemies. I mean, I really wish people who made retro games made them like this, because this is a superb example of just how you should make retro themed games. It is a superb title. Yeah, I've got a light up there, although I haven't actually taken any damage yet. Yeah, that's telling me to hurry up when it starts saying caution. As you got to get into the door and quickly, else otherwise I think there's a bomb explosion or something as a punishment. I can't remember if you can, I think if you fall down the floors you die. Just waiting for the elevator to come up now. There you go, that is the first stage. So I've got to see how far I can get on one credit. I could dig out some of the other Taito games. I think I'm just going to stick with this one all night. But I'll swap characters. I won't do a playthrough either unless I 1cc it. I'm going to see how good I have been. I have 1cc'd this in the past, but I do remember, I can't remember everything. Yes, I do remember where the power-ups are. They are preset. So these let us mean the different weapons. This is the rocket launcher. The game's already telling me I need to be... Basically, you have to get to the red doors in a set time limit. I think otherwise there's a full screen explosion that kills you, which is a bit annoying. So this stage is a bit weird. You can't start... Really got to be on your toes. Ooh, trying to blow that up. Ah, yes, I was going to say I thought those things you blow up with grenades. Ooh, bonus power. Visually, this is it is a fantastic arcade game. I never saw this in the arcades though, so I don't... This is probably one of those arcade games that was probably better known for its Saturn port than I suspect the original hardware. So as you see there, this bit here is definitely, I think, a bit more tricky. In fact, what I should have done is gone to one side. Yeah, they got me. Yeah, I should have used my grenades. Yeah, this is what we normally do. That's what... The background 2D art is fantastic. I Oh, that's right, you've got to go into the aeroplane. There is a slight element of flashback in how this moves and handles, and I do wonder if the developers were partly inspired by the flashback. Just the way the characters play in this reminds me a lot of flashback, and even the sort of slight level design. If you ever played the original Elevator Action, it's like I said, the original Elevator Action is not the greatest game ever made. It's a nice title, but it's not the greatest game. This takes the format and just updates it superbly, and it's a real shame there was never an Elevator Action 3. I think Taito could have done some really interesting ideas, but Taito sadly, I mean, strangely, Taito were actually quite bad for porting their games, because for a long time they didn't believe the arcade market would be surpassed by the home market, so a lot of their games they never ported. In fact, that's probably one of the reasons why Taito inevitably fell by the wayside. I mean, Taito as they stand no longer exist. They're now just absorbed into Square Enix. There are still, I think Square Enix was used the Taito brand new, it's not Taito, and I believe a lot of the staff actually
rush the old order and create a new society.
Power of the revolution, crush the old order. So although it's called Elevator Action 2 Returns, the Saturn's version, it's technically a collection because it includes Elevator Action 2, and if you beat it, or if you use the cheat code that I showed at the start, you will unlock, in fact I'll type the cheat codes in later just so people can have access to them. It will unlock the original Elevator Action game, and the original Elevator Action game is a nice little bit of history. I don't think it's a particularly very good game, but it's nice to be included. But yeah, as I mentioned, Taito definitely, I think, fell by the wayside. This wasn't actually ported by Taito, this port was done by Ving. And there's a lot of weirdness with that happened where Taito didn't do their games, other people ported them on the Saturn. I think that's one of the reasons Taito fell by the wayside in the end. So we take out all the lights by shooting the control table. The amount of sub art in this is just fantastic. All the animation, it's just superbly done. This stage has 2 routes. I think this one's the sewer stage, unless that's stage 4. It has been a while. I vaguely remember the first stage and the second stage. I remember pretty well. I can't remember. One of them was the sewers. I remember the last stage on the oil rig quite clearly. It is a very simple 3 buttons. You've got jump, throw grenade, although I've actually put on throw grenade, and so you get points or health. You are invulnerable. Do watch, make sure not to fall down lift shafts. You will die if you do. There we go. The 2D animation is fantastic in this. I think it's all moved, it's all been ported across from the arcade version. There could be some stuff missing. See there, just the burning animation. It just all looks fantastic. But yeah, as I said, very much does remind me a lot of Flashback of how the characters move in this. Each of the characters is slightly different to play. A couple of faster, stronger, slightly more health. I wish you actually change weapon in this actually. Slightly careful when you can get crushed. Just said if you fall too far, you will die. The music may be slightly redone for the Saturn version. I'm not entirely sure. Version of this is set. So you can enter the blue doors for bonuses, and the red doors, as you may have seen, are clearly objectives. If you haven't already figured out, you must do all the red doors. They will. If you haven't done them, you won't be able to progress. So the enemies will ride the elevators as well. Automatic gun turrets there. As fair to say, don't stand under an elevator because basically getting crushed will instantly kill you, and that's a loss of a life. And that's what happens if you get... Okay, I'll use 1 credit on this first run. Let's see how far I get. I'm a little bit rusty, but yeah, you do have, like I said, you do have to watch those. The life do give you points. If you don't, if you have full health. Oh, they're still flying the chopper even though they had the front of it blown out. This is the sewers. This is probably the hardest level in the game, actually. This is usually, if you're doing a 1 credit run, first couple of times, you'll meet your cropper, so to speak. Yes, thanks for everyone on the stream at the minute. By all means, do hit that like button. Glad to see we've already a few likes. Glad to see you're enjoying this. I'll take a look. I'll only do 1 credit runs, but for this first one, I'll show you. So it's already 20. See, the background art is just phenomenal. This is basically probably one of the best 2D Taito arcade games in terms of sprite work. It is phenomenal stuff. All the idle animation, just everything. But lots of hidden things as well to shoot the bonuses. Foreground and background art. This stage, the sewers, is really well done. In fact, you get like it's also one of the hardest stages in the game. But let's smash that camera. So lots of hidden stuff as well. There, as you can see there, I'm running through. Next bomb defused. So the map of the shot actually shows you all the bombs. Oh. Okay, I'll swap character in a sec. So I'm not going to continue. I'm going to count that down. My name is Riv, although this save file is only temporary, so got our main save file somewhere, which I think. There's a nice little comment thing, so no comment. There you go. Well, we get to. Depending how well you do. Let's look at the original elevator action, which is, as you can see, is included on Elevator Action Returns. So basically, by default, it's unlocked if you finish the game, or you can do the cheat code that I used earlier. If you finish the game, you unlock it as well. So. Yes, they've actually updated the copyright as well. Elevator Action, free play. Ving 1997, licensed from Taito Corp. Show the options. You've got normal level, hard level, very hard level, easy, extend, 100, jump. And classic sound effects. So let's dig into this original game. Unlike the latest, this is very, very, very rigid. and got killed there. You basically have to move. You can't. So as you see that this is really unforgiving, the original elevator action. You basically have to get down to the bottom, but you basically, if you're in the lift, you cannot, as you saw there, you have to. I like the fact they put up additional borders to compensate for the fact that obviously the resolution of this was. I wonder if this was originally vertical. You do have full lift control, so. But if they pull their gun out early, you have to move back up, else you're going to be a goner. So it should have gone back up there. And there we go with the first. First elevator, and yeah, and we get to escalators as well. You can't also move. I should say you can roll in elevator action returns, which I didn't actually do, and rolling is actually something I do a lot. No, I didn't mean to go up. Yeah, and you get stuff like that. Let's see if I can clear the first stage on the original game. Oh, just enter my name is ABC, seeing as AAA, just so speed things up. I don't remember seeing the original elevator action around much. I don't know how popular it was. It's appeared quite a lot. I don't think it's Taito's best game. It's not a patch on Rainbow Island. It's not a patch on Bubble Bubble. Hi Nikodana, thanks for joining the stream tonight. Hope you're enjoying this look at elevator action returns. And the original elevator action, which is included as a nice sort of freebie. So I'm going to come down. See if I can quickly get down. Oh, he's going to shoot me. Oh, I just dodged. So I'm currently deciding what to stream tomorrow. Oh, wrong. I need to do the other side. Stream tomorrow night as well. I might be looking at Ludo. There's an interesting Ludo sort of RPG puzzle platform RPG puzzle. Well, I think it's like a board game puzzle game on Sega Saturn. Might being the key words. Yes, this is very different to the Return. I think Returns. I'm not sure whether it's actually a sequel or a total remake. But you can, when you play this, Returns is such a better game. Returns feels such a better game. It's clear the developers with this were dealing with limitations, and with elevator action Returns, they just get every. Oh, you can jump that in the original. I wasn't too sure. Right, is he going to shoot me? You basically have to get really lucky to actually do the original one. This. Hi Rep Lawyer, we're looking at elevator action 2 Returns, as you asked. It includes the original game on it as a freebie, which you can access via. No, this is the arcade version, I believe. Although I believe it's the arcade version. I've not really played the arcade version too much, so it's got free play, but you basically get this basically on elevator action Returns. You get this as an extra. You can either unlock it via a cheat code or if you beat the game. So just package there. Oh, I actually lost my first life. I was doing a really good run there. It's very, very rigid compared to Returns. I think Returns basically takes everything that's positive about this. Oh, yeah, so you're not the only one that can get crushed. They can get crushed too. I should have jumped that. That's annoying. Okay, so I'm on the last life. I want to try and finish the stage before I go back to Returns. Oh, never mind. N-Gage games, wow. Improving them might be interesting. The N-Gage is a really weird system, but I know I've got quite a few people quite big fans of it, so I guess it's an interesting system, the N-Gage, I will admit. I've not really played it too much, so I can't really comment too much on it, but it's one of those things. It wasn't quite a phone, wasn't quite a games console, didn't quite know what it wanted to be. The original version, you have to unscrew it, I understand, to swap the games, but can you... So my question is back to you, Nicodian. Have you been able to find out if you can improve them? So I'll pick a different character this time. Let's pick the girl. Let's pick Edie Barrett. So I was Jaff the Taff before, and I'll do Calf, Bradford, Field. So Edie's the weakest. I think... Oh, you can actually use this as an emulator. Can actually roll in this. I thought it was... I'm sure you could roll in this and throw a grenade down there. I mean, the fact the light effects, as I said earlier, a lot of the emulated versions do not have, certainly MAME, last time I checked, does not have a correct dump of this game, so... Oh, that's not a good start. So, in some of the emulated versions, when you do that, you don't get the lights come out. In fact, that wasn't a very good start at all. I'm going to restart over that bad start because, well, let's see how well I can do. There'll be credit life down on the first stage. And I'm not going to... So I won't play through this tonight. I'll save that for another video. I'll just see how far I can get on one credit. I have one credit it before, but I'm a bit rusty. Knock out all the lights. I think when you knock out all the lights, the enemies cannot see you. Although he definitely saw me. But yeah, if you compare this to the original elevator action you saw a few moments ago, I think I'll jump between elevator action returns and the original as we play through. So do sort of run as each of the characters. Oh, you can actually couple them with controllers. Interesting. There are quite a few interesting... I think there was like Virtual Cop or something got an N-Gage version, I think. There are quite a few quite cool games that got N-Gages that most people don't realise about. A bit like the Tiger Gamecom, which is another... Although I think it's better that the N-Gage was a better machine than the Gamecom. I'm sure you could roll in this. Oh, that's right, she can kick. Maybe I think each of the characters has their own has like own moves. I know Carl can roll. Maybe they've all got different moves. I'm a little bit rusty. It has been some time since I played Elevator Action. Have to time this jump perfectly. It has been a while since I played this, I will admit. It's been some time since I did a 1 credit clear on this. I see so Edie's life bar is quite a bit smaller than Jack the Taff's. I do love that burning animation, it is so wonderful. This was surprisingly yeah, I remember someone mentioned something about video output on some of the later Nokias, so that must be quite interesting because that means you can actually capture from them. I think those versions were quite sought after though. I remember them saying something about one of them, you had some sort of like really good out. I can't remember that. Yeah, I do remember saying something about it, but they're quite rare, I think, because that's probably the only way you can capture them. I mean, admittedly, you're going to get composite footage, but capturing via composite footage is better than not being able to capture at all. Which, by the way, just crashed the helicopter in here. But so again, the artwork, like the airplane in the background, is just phenomenal stuff. I'm actually impressed with the amount of detail they get into the Saturns around by each stage in this. Yeah, I do love the airport. This machine gun. Already learned from the first time I did this, I'm going to shoot rapidly. Yeah, they use the jetpacks to... Oh, there were quite a few... Okay, yeah, I must admit, I've never really researched a Nokia, so... It's not one we're going to be covering on the channel anytime soon. I mean, if I could, I'd love to cover everything, but we would just need more people. Very tactical with my grenade use because I wanted to save some for the boss battle at the end as well where I fight these guys. Yeah, I've never actually owned a Nokia phone, so I've had Orange and O2's models, although they're generally sort of... Oh, shouldn't have jumped, that was a bad jump. Right, this we got to be. You do have to be careful because, as mentioned earlier, as you saw, the lifts will take you out. You'll also die if you fall. Oh, I thought this one had some sort of extras, though. It doesn't, this floor. Just a booby trap floor with enemies. Yeah, I think the whole screen blows up when you, because you're running out of time to get defuse the bombs. Basically, unlike the original elevator action, I think you are. Well, I think you're up against the clock in the original, but this one you basically have a bomb where the bomb will go off, and the bombs go off pretty regularly. This is sort of a 90s arcade game, so it's not that forgiving. Yeah, this guy's got flamers as well. They keep spawning as well. Ooh.
Rush to the old order and create a new society!
Yeah, Microsoft have a habit of taking over a lot of things and then ruining it. Case in point being Skype as well, was just absolutely destroyed by Microsoft. Hello there, Sega Saturn. Thanks for joining the stream. I'll be looking at, well, I've already taken a look at both versions, but I will be doing another look. But I'm going to see how far I can get on 1 credit. So, not doing too badly. 3rd stage, although she's got a lot less health. She's definitely the hardest of the 3 characters to do 1 credit clear on. All some health. I need that. Yeah, Microsoft have a history of really messing up a lot of creative ideas. She's got that great kick, so I should really use that more because that's a great way to deal with opponents. Just grab the health. Yeah, your health does not cover on the stage. Just some more health there, so I'm back up to full health with her. Just points. I think there are 1-2 slight odd graphical things where some of the way it's moving with the rastering, but other than that, this is pretty much, I think, a spotless conversion. I'm not sure if there's the odd frame of animation missing. The arcade game is not a very common game in the slightest, I have to admit. Oh, I can't believe I just walked right past that one. But as I said earlier, I do think this does, the way the characters move in this reminds me a lot of Flashback. And the whole look and everything reminds me a lot of Flashback. It's like they looked at Flashback and said, let's make a game like this, an arcade game like this. And it's just absolutely flawless. going up that ladder, it's pretty hard to avoid taking damage. Yeah, this is the exact opposite of the original elevator action, which we saw, which is incredibly rigid. Whereas here we have a much smoother, it's just so much more free-flowing. Oh yeah, both brilliant games. Eric Shahi's Flashback, and is it Paul Cezanne did another? No, Eric Shahi's Another World, and Paul Cezanne, I think it was the main coder on Flashback. Eric Shahi, yeah, because he also did one of the games we streamed a little while ago, Heart of Darkness, which wasn't a bad game, but it definitely had flaws. But Another World is just an iconic game, as is Flashback. I actually recently played the Mega CD demo of Flashback. So Flashback got a Mega CD version, but for some reason it never got released in PAL. There was a demo released in PAL, but not the full game, despite the fact it was a European developed game. It only got a full release in America. Although we were playing the demo, and it's interesting to see what the Mega CD version of Flashback's like, because they redid a lot of the intros, so the Mega CD version has a lot. It's such a hateful game. Yeah, I've seen. Oh yeah, Heart of Darkness. It's one of those games. I mean, I quite enjoyed it when I was playing it, but it's basically just. It's so, the trial and error in Heart of Darkness was really unforgiving, and just kept, there was a lot more just, it felt like often you were just being killed for no clear reason in Heart of Darkness. I didn't think it was as bad as what people made out, but I think the trial and error was a bit too tough in the original Heart of Darkness. I was briefly thinking there you were saying about Heart of the Alien, which was the sequel to another, well, it was the follow-up to Another World, but Eric Shahi wasn't involved in it, so it's widely hated. And it is a bit odd. They kill off the main character Lester in Heart of the Alien on Mega CD. That was a weird follow-up. It doesn't make any sense as well. I wanted to save those crates. So yeah, basically we want to turn this area into a fire arena, so that way. So you'll notice first time round took the top route, whereas this time round I'm being much more aggressive. Come on, get to the hill. Got him.
We're leaving now.
Okay, so that's a better run. I haven't lost a life, and I'm now on the 4th stage where we were before when I got bumped off. Yeah, I mean, the animation in Heart of Darkness is wonderful, but it did feel a bit uncomfortable playing. how Mike Dawson from Darkseid, who based off the director becomes the wimpiest human creature in the involved. Oh, you talking about Darkseid, the puzzle game? Okay, I made a mistake running into all three of them. This is one of those games, once you know what to do, you have to literally do everything sort of perfectly to get it just right. Yeah, there are quite a few games and films where whenever you have the original people not involved, things go a bit awry. Or if you only have some of the original team involved, things go awry. If you can get Darkseid 1 and 2 on the Sega Saturn. I've never actually played them, they're quite dark point-and-click adventures. Okay, here's where things get a bit tricky with these. So as always guys, hope you're enjoying this stream. By all means, please do hit that like button if you are. And again, if you're new to the stream, or new to our channel, then please consider subscribing. We're nearly at 3,000, although I suspect from all the people, the commentators I know on, are probably everyone who's probably already subscribed, because I know Nickelodeon, Sega Saturn, and I think Rep are all subscribed, so probably that's literally all of us on tonight. Yeah, I've never played either, so Darkseid 1's quite interesting, hilariously. I've seen footage of them, they're quite dark. I remember the problem with Darkseid, I remember Hardcore Gaming did a feature on Darkseid. I do remember the issues with it being that as a puzzle game it was quite unforgiving, in that if you didn't do things in a certain order, you would actually end up non-progging yourself and just get the bad ending. Or you wouldn't be able to progress and solve puzzles. It's an interesting sort of horror puzzle game. Times that quite nicely. There's a little bit in animation when the mine went off the manhole cover up the top there, just rattled. Just one of those subtle things artists on these type of games would do. So there's a lot of really niche culture things with this. Yeah, the art style was always... I remember because it was inspired by Geiger's. H.G. Geiger's artwork, of course, best known as the creator of the Alien and... Or I should say the Xenomorph from the Alien film. So as we start getting... Oh, she's doing surprisingly well as the girl. Mission 5, Crimson Line. Just remember, is this a 5 or 6 stages? No, I think it has 6, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, I thought some of the puzzles in Thingy were quite irritating, but I think Darkseid were even more worse. I know I Have No Mouth and Cannot Scream as well, another sort of horror puzzle game based on sort of sci-fi stuff, is another one with quite aggravating puzzles. Oh, Geiger was actually in development. Ah, that was... Yeah, that's often the way. They'd have a lot of people involved in the first game, but they wouldn't have the key players, so... Should use her running kick more as well. I've not actually played it again. Well, we've actually got it. I know one of the guys has got it. I've just not actually ever sat down with it. A couple people said again that's a bit random. Probably best remembered because the German version. I mean, it's based on a short story, but infamously the German version was cut to pieces. You can't actually be finished because they took out basically the German Reich stuff. So that was again based on a short story. So I never actually played it, but we do have a copy, so I should sit down. That's quite probably not one I'd want to stream without sticking an 18 thing on. Oh, yes, just did it. I just got to be a bit careful with this. If I fall down, I will actually die. Come on. Oh, I lost my first life. Irritating. No, don't go down. I think the red guys give you power-ups. Nope, they don't. Slightly a disadvantage because I haven't played this stage in a while, so I don't know what's coming up next. Machine gun. Yeah, it's always weird when the fact there's a... Oh, so it's largely you can avoid not getting... Okay, that's interesting to know. But I always find it weird when puzzle games have pronged progressions. It doesn't make much sense. I do love the music and the ambient sound effects in this. It's just... I think I'm right in saying if you basically all the characters characters can get killed in I Have No Mouth, and basically you lose certain characters in the final chapter. I think it's possible. You can basically get them killed in their stories, and then that way. Oh, I managed to avoid that. Because right, I say each character's their own story. You can get them killed. Absolute favourites of the genre. Point and click. I must admit, for me, Secret Monkey Island's probably my all-time favourite. Or Secret Monkey Island 2. Like the guy sitting there on the toilet. A nice little... quite a nice little Easter egg. I think my all-time... I'm not necessarily sure all-time favourite is the original Sam & Max. I think is a fantastic game. I think probably Monkey Island 2. I think Broken Sword 2. Yeah, I think probably Secret Monkey Island 2 would be my all-time favourite. Although I did used to like the Les Shoot Larry and the Police Quest games. I think they're really good, even if they can have slightly baffling puzzles and nondescript, unexpected kills at points. I actually got the GBA port of Broken Sword and the PS1 versions of 1 and 2. I've got the Xbox One of 1 Broken. I mean, Beneath the Steel Sky we covered a little while back. I actually did that in one of the streams. Didn't have too many people on that stream, but that's another just a classic point and click, I think. What's quite good about it is that there are quite a few point-and-click games that are actually now free on ScumVM, which is a freeware program to run them, and it does support. You can basically use it to. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. That was me chatting away. You can't fall down at all onto the elevators, so never mind. That was a really good 1 credit run. We nearly got to the hence infinite continues. Okay. Oh yeah! So my comment on that was like, oh yeah! It was nice to know. 300,000. It's a pretty good score. Probably should. So this Sonic car, I've got to do another run on Blazing Tornadoes as the boss. That's another crack at the original old elevator action. Yeah, I did really well. That I'm just chatting away, and because sometimes I stop to read your comments, and then I have 1 credited this before, so I have actually done a 1 credit run because I think Elevator Action Returns is a fantastic game, and I highly recommend it. The best version, I think. This is a really, really good version, but if you want a decent version now, go for the PS1 included in the PS2 collection. If I'd paid more attention, I would have actually got to the final stage. So, but this one, the original Elevator Action, is just brutal. Basically got to look away when they're and get close to them so the shots go through you. I have cleared it. I basically do it and then you can shoot the lights in this one as well. And there I got shot. So that's where the light feature comes from. I will play as the last character briefly on elevator action. Well, if you want to cheat, hold ZCLR and you get 8 credits. So that was I basically went through all the cheats at the start of the video. So there are a couple of cheats that are not listed on some of the Western cheat sites, and I will put up. I'll probably do a proper playthrough at some point on this, and I'll put them up then, because I basically went through a load of Japanese cheat sites and discovered that. Oh, come on down, jump. Really got it. Yeah, your character, the movement in this one is very rigid, which is the exact opposite. Okay, I'm going to be really careful. So I'm at floor 15. Can I get down to the ground level? Basically, when you move... So you can see the sort of how elevator action returns came out. It basically fixes what I described as most. So there, that was unavoidable. That was me. There's nothing I could do there. They 3 of them fired, and okay, yeah, no, elevator for me. I'm a huge run and gun fan. So Metal Slug, I can one credit. I can literally run credit clear that every time these days. I've tried to actually finish it with 1 life, but I've done every stage without dying. I've done every stage with the pistol, but I've never been able to put it into 1 run for Metal Slug. And that's the thing. The only good thing with this one is that you actually have full control of the elevator, so you can do this. So if they pull out the gun, you can literally... which you don't have in elevator action returns. I think returns in many ways, although it's called the Saturn version calls it elevator action 2 returns, and I think it was called 2. I think it's more a remake of the original in many respects. It's just such a better game. You play the original and you play the sequel and you just think, yeah, it's one of those times where they took a game that I would say was rather flawed and made it into a vastly better title. Yeah, we might have another obscure Saturn game on to... Oh, I've done it again where I've gone to the wrong one. Okay, right, let's try this again. I'm determined to see if I can get down. It's actually... getting down to floor 0 is probably harder than finishing elevator action returns. This is... such a rigid game, the original elevator action. But it's quite a nice collection. The fact you actually get 2 games on it, so you get elevator action returns. You get basically the main game, elevator action returns, but the secret extra game is you get the original elevator action. So it's a really nice... It effectively becomes a nice little collection. Basically, if you're going down and they pull out the guns at certain points, you are a goner. So, I'm just going to hope... Oh, you can jump. We'll get that jump better. Right, so let's go this side. You don't really look like much of a spy in this one. You look more like you're just coming home from work in a crime-filled city. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, the double. Yeah, they don't really have a look. It does look like they don't really have a spy look in this. It does look more like this is Crime Town. Try and get home. Yeah, the music is just like. If you're being shot left, right, and centre, and oh, that was close. Oh, in this version, I think got the original. There's like Elevator Action Old and New on the GBA. There's lots of re-releases of the original game. It's weird. Elevator Action Returns has had so few re-releases. But the PS2, it's available on the Xbox as well. But the Xbox version on that collection is awful because that is actually using just the main ROM set, so it's actually got incomplete visuals and all sorts. Right, I'll give it one last attempt and then I'll jump back onto Returns as the third character. I have actually got a piece on forcing PS1 games into 60Hz coming out. I need to get that finished. I should have got it out Friday, but I haven't yet. Oh, and thanks for that tip, Nickelodeon, about about saying some PS2 games run at the same speed at 50 and 60Hz. Yeah, because I checked a couple myself and discovered a few of them. So the Capcom collection. You know, the Capcom Classics collection, the original one, I actually did tests on that, and yeah, the games run at the same speed at 50 and 60 Hz. I was just gobsmacked by it. So although they're retro games, I'm not sure what they're doing. I think it's implementing some sort of frame skip, but they run at the same speed. I actually did a comparison with the PS2 version versus the arcade version. Just a quick sort of screen compare, and it was really interesting. So I'm definitely going to look into that more on PS2. Because that way it actually destroys the myth about 60 Hz, that you need a 60 Hz version. It actually implies some PAL versions run at the same speed, which is not something so few people have actually reported. Gangsters, yeah, it is literally like you welcome, go get. It's literally like a cry. You want to get back to your house before the shop, because it just doesn't seem very spy-like. It's just like, yeah, this place is just like, I'm just going to get some stuff, love. Just get the grapple hook, right? I'll give it one last shot because this is really irritating. The original, it's like going home, try and get home without getting. Oh, that's interesting. The borders have actually changed. Was that something I pressed? Can I actually... Did one of the buttons change the borders, or did they just randomly change? Nice little touch though. Yeah, it's interesting. The more I look into a lot of there's so much, because being a developer myself, and even I was not actually in development really when I was having worked in games. I didn't actually really come into work. I mean, the first consoles I worked on were the Wii, PS2, 360. We sort of the end life of the PS2, 360 was basically at the start of the 360 and PS3. So by then we'd just about phased out the whole 50-60 Hertz problems. Although there's still a few issues with some PS4 retro collections, some Switch retro collections, and a few bits and bobs. But okay, I'm having a good run so far. I'm having a good run. Can I get... Oh, yes, right. So floor 14. Oh. Should have jumped. Should have jumped. Yeah, it's... I can't remember if Counterattack was in that one. The second collection's actually really, really good, because the second collection is... So the second classic collection on PS2 is 60 Hz totally. That has a progressive scan option, that has a 60 Hz option. The first one is weirdly perfectly okay in PAL. Yeah, this first one is fully PAL, is properly PAL optimized, and the speed is just... I can't remember if it's slightly different per game, but yeah, it's PAL optimized, and the speeds... The speed when we did a comparison check was literally running the same at 50-60 Hz. It wasn't quite actually matching in 50 and 60 Hz actually to the arcade version, but it was really, really close. It felt like perhaps the PS2 version, the emulator on it wasn't quite right. Okay, let's jump back to Elevator Action Returns, which I'm sure you guys... But yeah, the original Elevator Action is rather tricky. So it says again, guys, if you want 8 credits, hold down Z, C, L trigger, R trigger, and then press start button, and you'll start with 8 credits instead of the usual 3. That was a Japanese cheat we saw. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people assume that if it's 50 Hz in PAL on PS2, the speed is incorrect and they just stretch the stream, but obviously that's not the case. But that, again, is when people are saying, oh, well, it's not got 60 Hz option. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. If the game runs perfectly in PAL, you don't need a 60 Hz option. I mean, being a developer myself, I want to make sure I get the premium experience. Ah, that's right. Calf is definitely... I just get the manual. You can definitely roll in this, and I can't remember how to. Yeah, I think Gran Turismo was one of the few games they properly optimised correctly on the PS1. Oh, I'm really behind the time. I need to get to the... Crash Bandicoot was also properly optimised on the PS1. It's the PS1's much more of a minefield than I was expecting, because I thought it would just be the common myth that... So I actually had a bit of a debate with someone the other week on one of the forums who was basically not having any of it, that everything was not optimised, and that you do get people who have basically built up this NTST vision that everything in NTST is always better, and that even PAL games... Hi Super Saturn 55, thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, good to know you can one-click CC it. I've had CC this in the past, but not on this run. Yeah, there are a couple of Dreamcast games that you can force into 60 Hz via VGA, but then... that don't run properly. In terms of PAL Saturn games, definitely there are very few that are flawless. I think everything has, as far as I'm aware, every PAL Saturn game has a speed loss. I know you can roll in this, I can't remember how. thought it was down and... No worries, that was why we created it originally, just to see which game. We originally created a list just to see, because we originally did it just because we got an NTSC Saturn, it was like 2001, and we just wanted to know which games you could put in and which game you couldn't. But as a developer myself, I now realise I've learned an awful lot, and our list is still far from perfect. I still need to go over every game, fully do full playthroughs. I will at some point literally do comparisons of every single game, if I can do, if I get time. Is it A plus B, X, Y, Z, L, R? Okay, so is it A? I know you can roll in this. Yeah, the downside of Banjo-O is you can't play the PAL version on VGA because the PAL version defaults to the 50-60 Hz screen. You can't get past it. So there are a couple of games. Yeah, I agree, Super Saturn. There are one or two bits I think this does get a little bit repetitive. I think it could have done with a few more bosses. But it is a phenomenal game. I think it was actually released as a budget game, but you're right. And I did mention the price. These days, the price, it's hard to recommend picking up this title now at the current price. I mean, we got this one of our early Saturn games, so well back in the early 2000s. I always remember Sega Saturn magazine reviewed this and said this would make a great little budget release. In regard to the Banjo-O thingy mode, in the PAL version, if you try to run it, you get like a really small window, and then you get the 50-60 selector screen, so it's like running at 1/4 screen, and then it you just won't run. But I assume you've got an NTSC-J or a North American copy, Nickelodeon, of Banjo-O. I mean, I will say this is a masterclass in design because it's not that hard to actually, once you get used to it, it's quite easy to finish, and it's superbly done. There's nothing random about it, everything just feels perfectly placed, which is what's really good. It feels a vastly better game than the original Elevator. It's just superbly done, this. And this is, I would love to see a follow-up to this. This is just how you make a good run gun. Yeah. The idea... The checkpoint, you can say the choke... Yeah, the choke points are a bit weird, like this one here where you just get loads of enemies. They are a bit... Yeah, these weird... I agree, Super Saturn, these weird bits are just... These bits where you sit and just shoot a load of enemies are a bit bland. In fact, we've got two of them back to back now because we've got to go in the plane. You have to go in the plane there. And we get another one. So I'm just going to literally throw a few grenades, so that should cover me. It's glitched. Okay, so you can't play it really at VGA on any version then for Banjo-O. So it does actually glitch out. There are a few games. Heavy Metal Geomatrix is another one. I probably need to see if someone can get a code through it. Basically, the 56 Capcom vs SNK and Heavy Metal Geomatrix are two games where you get to the Hertz screen in VGA, and then You then have to select 50 or 60 hertz, and then it reverts to oh, crushed there. See, little mistake. And then it reverts to thanks for that, Super Saturn. You've been a fan of our channel for a while then, I take it. I'm going to be a bit cheeky and just say, if anyone here hasn't seen our channel before and is watching the video and you enjoy our content, please do subscribe. And as always, if you enjoy these streams, please do hit the like button. I know these Saturn streams have been a bit popular than some of the PC and indie stuff, but we will continue to do them all. We've been steadily building it over the past few years. I probably need to get more videos out. And we'll probably be a lot bigger. I do need to do more long plays, it's just time. I was planning to do quite a bit more, but since we've had all these troubles these years, I thought I'd stream to just chat to people and just cheer people up, and that's... So I still do stuff in the day. I was supposed to be getting out a playthrough on Scythe, which is a hidden mini shooter game on Tokyo Memories, and I've done the playthrough. I was supposed to be doing the video today, but misprinted Evolution for Dreamcast. Please do explain, Nickelodeon R. I know Evolution has a weird bug, weird thing on the back of the box where it says it supports VGA, and it doesn't due to a bug where the developers forgot to turn off the warning screen. But if you literally don't tap in the VGA till you launch the game, it will be in VGA. You're running VGA perfectly. So it's got a weird bug because developers. Because I don't think during Sega's time and during development of Dreamcast, Sega of Europe tested for VGA because they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Basically, that was what I think the issue was. Okay, so that's telling me I need to get to the bomb pretty swiftly. Yeah, in regards to... I know what you mean, Super Saturn. We did get quite a lot of 2D games, but we missed out on all the retro collections, really. We didn't get many of the retro collections. We missed out on all the 4MB Sega Saturn games. There's quite a lot of good 2D games. You've got Darius Gadian. You've got a couple of shooters. We got Galactic Attack, or Layer Sections, as it was, as the renamed version was known to Galactic Attack. We got the Paradise Collection, but we didn't get a huge amount of games. I mean, case in point, we got Wiz, which is a weird 2D isometric game. But nice enough. I did a playthrough a little while back, but a really short game. Doesn't really feel like it's a Sega Saturn version. Doesn't feel like a Saturn game. In fact, it's a port of Amiga, but it's a nice enough little game. And I did do a video on it a little while back, a long play. It's a game that by default, the settings on so hard, it's incredibly slow. Okay, thanks for the support, Super Saturn 55. It's always very much appreciated. Glad to know people are enjoying our channel. That's why I do it. So as long as we keep getting people, that's great. Yeah, the Japanese Saturn stuff is incredible. That's really weird. That's interesting. So that means that's a really weird. So was it you actually had a PAL version that was basically saying it's an NTSC version, or will you have an NTSC version? Because that reminds me a bit of the issue. Are you aware of the Mega CD game, Lawnmower Man? What happened to the PAL version of that? US region protection. That's really, really interesting. That's really interesting, Nicodian. An actual retail PAL version with US region protection. I never saw anyone mention that before. I might have to document that. Many years ago, one of the guys on the team actually did a... in fact, you can still see it. There's a GameFAQs FAQ to PAL Dreamcast games. And he actually did that, one of the background guys. US region. Yeah, that's exactly what happened on the. So I don't know if you know about the Lawnmower Man on the Mega CD. The PAL version was never officially distributed. Well, it was released, it was distributed, but then they cancelled it. Yeah, so basically Lawnmower Man on the Mega CD had that exact same issue where the PAL version had the North American region coding on it, so you couldn't play it. Oh, I'll continue seeing as I'm going to... This will be my last run. Yeah, there are quite a few. If you actually look... So, if you look at just the Hertz list, we've got... if you go to the website, we've got a Hertz list and basic for all the Sega Saturn games, and that includes every single Sega Saturn game. So, I mean, you've got the Street Fighter Alphas on Saturn. You've got stuff like Mortal Kombat, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, the arcade games. You've got, so, probably the more interesting 2D stuff. You have the Paradis Double Pack by Konami. You have Darius 2 and Darius Gadian got released. Galactic Attack, which is basically the Western rename. Well, it is Layer Section, but it's the Western rename. So those are the shooters. We didn't get many shooters over here. We got, what else did we get? I think of the 2D stuff we got KO Flying Squadron 2. Fantastic live, Fabian. Thank you, Anthony Taduro. Apologies, I think that's my... Merci. We didn't get the Salamander and Gradius Deluxe packs, but they are fantastic. We only got the Paradis one in the West. But yeah, there's a Twinbee Deluxe pack as well. We've actually got them all, so... We didn't get Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That was a Japanese only release. So there are a few ones. We got, say, KO2, which is, although KO2 is very expensive now to get the PAL version. I'm just going to say, we've got a few people on stream again, so I'll just remind everyone, if you fancy, please do hit that subscribe button. I'm actually partly paying too much attention to you guys chatting away, so apologies. My gaming skills not quite stretched, but it's actually nice to chat to some of you guys, so not quite a perfect play, but as I said, the music in this is fantastic, the visuals are fantastic. This might actually be a remixed soundtrack, I'm not entirely sure for the Saturn version. And I don't know if there may be the odd bit of animation missing. Oh, jumped down. But basically you cannot fall down at all in this, you will. I know you can do I'm sure you can do a roll. Or maybe I'm getting confused. I'm sure you can do a roll in this. Yeah, we didn't get a huge amount of 2D game. So you got the Street Fighter Alphas. So I think what the other really good 2D games we got in PAL. I mean, we... Definitely a few I'm forgetting. So it's not quite... Just have a think. Right, here we go. So, what? Right. Oh really, Nickelodeon? No, I've got that as optimized, so okay, I might have to check that and update it. It's totally unoptimized gameplay-wise, so it's one of those horrible sound sample ones. Yeah, it's probably because it's doing it for the timings. It's that's another one then to add to the pick up a Japanese version list. Yes, we did get a few Taito games released in. Just trying to think what other really good 2D. I mean, yeah, a large chunk. We got X-Men: Children of the Atom. We got Marvel Superheroes in PAL as well, which are two phenomenal games. They did try. Yeah, both the KO games are worth playing if you like them, but I would suggest getting a Japanese copy as there's not much English in it, and so it makes sense. Yeah, the voiceovers would have been timed. Yeah. Okay, that's two games I need to update again. Because a while back, I had someone tell me, "Oh no, nothing was up." He's complaining. It was like, "Oh no, I refuse to believe that many games were optimized." And I said about a third of the games at least a third of the games had some form of optimization in PAL. One of the guys was like, "No, it's not true. It's not true." It's like, "Well, you actually read our list. We've got at least a third." And the more I play, the more I chat to other people as well. Yeah, it's like Sonic R has a minor thing with the thing rolls. It doesn't affect it too much, but it's still annoyance. And like the Street Fighter games, most of them actually have the intro optimized for 60 Hz, so the music and the intro just go slightly out of sync at PAL. Oh yeah, I should show you the idle animation as well, which is just phenomenal in this game. It really is good. But it's such a minor thing, it's not really worth worrying too much about. But it does, for someone like me who's a perfectionist, it does annoy. When I see stuff like that, it annoys me constantly. Yeah, there are a few good exclusive PAL games, so it's worth... Actually, no, there aren't really. There's only about 6 PAL. There's only about 6 exclusive PAL games that didn't get a North American release, and the best one of them is Swagman, and that actually runs pretty much fine at 60 Hz. So. I mean, I definitely think, I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's definitely a weird rippling effect with some of the things. I'm wondering if that is just a slight bug with this version of the game. It's not quite, I don't think it's quite a flawless version, but it's pretty much. I think that's why they got food there, because that guy at the back there pretty much automatically gets you at this point. Yeah, the Saturn, there isn't really much reason to play, to actually own a PAL Saturn, as there's only really about 6 or 7 PAL exclusive games. You've got Formula Kart, which isn't a bad racer. I think the best game by far is Swagman, but I've not had any issues with that playing at 60 Hz. Core weren't particularly very good at optimizing their games, so you've got sports games, so you've got, I mean, Discworld 2 doesn't run that well at 60 Hz, but it can still be played. Jonah Alone and Rugner. Yeah, hi again, Rep. You've not said too much tonight, but this is just a gorgeous video game, as 2D artwork is. It is probably it just controls and looks beautiful for a 2D title. Yeah, so I've had someone say, another guy contacted me on the other day on the Sonic Jam stream. Yeah, so here's an interesting thing. I think Frankenstein is actually an NTSC build of the game, because I ran it at 60 Hz and it literally syncs perfectly. Even there's no, I couldn't hear any cutoff either. It was developed by Interplay, so it was actually a US developer. So it's really weird that you have a US developed game that only got a PAL exclusive release. And I've summarised that I think the game was intended to get a US release, but because of that time Scholar was then in control of the Saturn. It was quite a late Saturn game. I think Sega America said no to it, so it only got a PAL release. But as far as I could tell, I couldn't see any clear PAL optimization. I need to look at Atlantis. Yeah, you'd be right, Nickelodeon. It was A, B, DOS, and B, I also think it was North. The SKU, it was developed by Interplay, and they would not have led on a PAL SKU. There's no way they would have led on a PAL SKU of a game. They would have always led on. It was done by an American studio, so it was done by an American coder. Yeah, that's probably one of the best versions of Shinobi X, because they changed all the soundtrack. It is optimized. I don't think it'll be quite as well playing as fast playing as the Japanese version, but you can't. It's definitely got a better soundtrack. So if you don't mind a slight speed loss, if you want a better soundtrack, that's definitely the way to go. I'm surprised how much that's actually getting quite a pricey game now, Shinobi X, even though it's not particularly very good. It's certainly not a patch on any of the Shinobis that were released on the Mega Drive. I do need to go back and revisit a few of the PAL optimized games and do more checking, so I will make a note. That's KO2, and another one guy said to me about Clockwork Knight. The other day, Clockwork Knight 2, the run speed had been optimised, so I need to investigate into that. Oh, I nearly got crushed by the elevator there. No, the arcade version, so no, it'll be, Shinobi X won't be playable at all, I think, in 60 Hz, because it was properly optimised, so I think you're missing screen resolution and stuff. Yeah, I mean, so, Rep, this is basically a straight arcade port. There's a lot of myths that people may say the arcade version doesn't look quite as good. That's rubbish. What it is that for a long time, the dump on main, most people have only played this via the dump on main, because Saturn's version is pretty obscure and rather expensive these days, and until the collections came along, no one had really played it. Basically, the dump on main is incomplete. As a result, many of the visual and graphical effects don't work in it. So the Saturn's version for decades has still been the best version to play, except for the PS2 collection, which I believe used a proper dump. A lot of them used an incomplete dump on main, so don't emulate some of the visual effects, so they're missing. So it's not that the Saturn's version is just a straight arcade port, but you have an issue where, for most people, if you've only played it via main, no one's actually no one's bothered to dump the game properly, so. Oh yeah, 2D wise, you've got all the excellent SNK ports and the Capcom 4MB stuff. I'm actually taking a look at I'm actually currently looking through all the 4MB games, so I'm just waiting on something. But in the next few days, I might actually do a bit of a chat on them, because there is more. So a lot of people don't realise. I think most West, there's supposed to, if you play the arcade version. I think the arcade version, last time I checked it, mate, I think the arcade version is still not correctly dumped. It's actually missing the intro, the arcade version. The emergency and stuff is all wrong, and I've had a lot of people complain the arcade dump. Last time I checked, it was still incomplete, but I need to check. And the problem is, because a lot of the emulated collections use the arcade dumps from MAME, they don't actually redump the ROMs. You have this issue where many of those dumps still are using the incomplete version. Oh, that got me. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the original game now, just do one last go before I wrap up this stream. A few minutes. I think I'll make it a 2-hour stream, then I'll wrap up. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll save doing a full run through for another video when I practice a bit, so I can actually get 1 credit clear in. Or when I can just... I'll go back to the original game. As mentioned at the start of the video, we've got 10 people watching. That's quite surprising. I'm quite surprised how many people we've got. Hello to everyone currently watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Randomised Gaming. I'm your host, Random Gamer Ribbon, for this stream. I'm the editor of Randomised Gaming. And we're looking at Elevator Action Returns tonight. As always, if you enjoy the stream, please hit that like button. And if you're new to our channel and haven't looked, we've got a whole host of Sega Saturn videos. And we cover all sorts of things on the channel. Gaming, all aspects of video gaming. If you like our content, please do consider subscribing if you do. Very much welcome. Don't just watch this video if you're a bit unsure, just go through, have a huge look. I need to actually play through, so I need to actually sit down with the Taito Memories version on PS2 just to see where it's actually, how complete it is. Final Fight Revenge. That's an interesting... Yeah, I know, you typed in Revenge wrong. But actually, I see we've had a couple times now. The banners actually change to the logo, which is a nice touch. So although obviously this is actually quite a low resolution, so they put like the banners to the side. I'm gonna see if I can actually beat this, because this one's far harder than Returns. I forgot this had the original game on, because initially I thought just playing Elevator Action Returns might be quite short, and then I thought, oh, we'll try the original game as well. It's not a brilliant game. It's fun. If you look, we've got a couple of videos on the channels if you want to look. I quite like it. It's quite a nice game. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's really, 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 really expensive these days and hard to justify the price. But it's only ever had a Sega Saturn version. It was a Sega Titan video game, so it's an arcade perfect port, but just uses the 4MB. There's actually 2 Sega Titan video games that use the 4MB. The other one is Mahjong something. I quite like it. I think it's a bit of fun, but it's not the greatest game. I think it as a premise, it actually worked. As a premise, I think it was a nice thing. I think they were building something interesting, because it's very over the top with the super moves and stuff. So, but it's... Let's see if we try again. This one's really infuriating me. I don't want to try and beat it. See, I quite enjoy it playing it, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near as good as Alpha 2. I'd actually say it's better than Street Fighter 5 if I'm being blunt, because Street Fighter 5 is best described as a hot car crash of a game. The problem is there's not much point in actually finishing Final Fight Revengers. There's nothing extra to unlock. It is a raw arcade point, so there is only arcade mode and there is only verse mode, and you've got 10 characters and that's it. But we've done a stream on it, Super Saturn, if you want to watch it. And in fact, there's a video on the channel as well if you want a 4K video of it, which is a nice bitrate, because the problem with the streams is the bitrate on them is not that great when you watch them back afterwards. I enjoyed it the same. Yeah, it's that type of game like Battle Area to Shinden, isn't it? I'd argue Final Fight Revenge is probably slightly better than Battle Area to Shinden, but yeah, I need to spend a bit more time with the Battle Age Shinders. The Game Boy one is actually really, really good, because we did cover that on a stream a little while. Because the Game Boy one is one of those games where you can actually play 2-player on the Super Game Boy with 2 controllers. So it's a really, really nice package. Oh, I just dodged that one. Yeah, the controls are really rigid with this. You can't move once you crouch, so you have to then... You can turn left and right, but you have to get up and down. So it's a bit weird. They kind of almost got like real-life controls. You can't just move around. You have to really... These guys will get the lift. I'm just going to keep the bullets going. After all the... Must be... This... You certainly picked an interesting place to live with this crime spree capital. We were joking earlier, this is sort of, he doesn't really look much like a spy, it looks more like someone on their way home to work. Yeah, I'll be honest, I probably need to spend more time with the Toshinden Battle Area remix. Oh, he's going to get me. Have I still got a life? Have I still got a life? Yes, yes, come on, we're down to... I can't see what any of you guys are saying in a minute. I'm just concentrating constantly now because I want to try and beat this before, see if we can get this before 2 hours up. We've got 12 floors. Right, this guy, come on, get in the lift so I can shoot you. Oh, I'm gonna do the risk it. Oh no! Yeah, the Saturn's version of Street Fighter Alpha 03 is fantastic. At least in terms of how it plays with the joypad and the animation. It's much better than the Dreamcast one. It does miss out. It is a port of the PS1 in terms of content, so they were a bit lazy. They've added in all the animation. It actually is more animation than the Dreamcast version, but it doesn't have the Dreamcast version's World Tour mode. It has the PS1's version's World Tour mode, but the Dreamcast version of Street Fighter Alpha is, or Street Fighter Alpha 3.0 is, or Street Fighter Alpha 3 or Street Fighter Alpha 03 is awful because they messed up the collision in the Dreamcast version. Yeah, but yeah, I probably need to spend more time with Battle of Shinden Remix. I will give it a point sometime. I keep meaning to get a Japanese copy of that one. I expect the PAL version's just as bad. I know it's optimised, but it's going to be a bad optimisation. I can just feel it. Oh, I missed the jump. You've got to get the jump spot on. You got when you bought Warriors of Fate. Now that is a good game. Tekio no Warriors of Fate, or Dynasty Oh, Dynasty Warriors 2 as the arcade version was called, or Dynasty Warriors 2. Yeah, that's a brilliant scrolling beat 'em up. Now available in the Capcom beat 'em up collection, so it's no longer quite the sought after Saturn title I think it was. But that's definitely one of my really... I mean, we did a video on the channel years ago. It's one I should actually try and do a full playthrough of. I really enjoyed that one. I discovered cheap, like the hidden bonus mode. We get loads of additional moves, which is quite awesome. Well, there's two versions of Toshinden on Saturn. You get Toshinden the remix and then Toshinden URA, the ultimate revenge attack. You've got to watch when you come to those. If they point, if you see them point the gun, you have to jump, else you're going to be taken out when you come down the lift. So I've got to. Yeah, I need to jump a bit up. Yep, not having luck with this. Going down in the elevator is probably the most dangerous thing in this. I think I'm not going to finish this one either. This one's going to beat me as well. Or at least you basically keep repeating the game, so it's basically an endless one. Yeah, Warriors of Fate. Yeah, that's it. Warriors of Fate. Yeah, I would like to see how it compares to the original Battle of Toshinden on PS1. Is it the better version? Or really, I know it's got extra characters and stuff. I think it generally was regarded not quite as good. Just pause that a second. That's one bonus feature this game adds in, the pause feature. One thing advised if you ever do streams, make sure you've got a glass of water handy. It does tire out your voice. It's madness when I see people do like 4 or 5 hours streaming videos. I just think my poor voice by the end. I think 2-3 hours is max. Oh. Unless you have like a silent stream. Yeah, I should actually spend more time with. I haven't spent that much time with Remix, so I should do. You're reminding me I should spend more time with it, Nicodendin. Although I'm debating whether one of those games I should really get an NTSC version of. I've pretty much junked every single. I mean, we've still got because we've got a full power set now here at Randomised Gaming, but oh, that's not a good start. Let's just do ABC start. I do like the fact the borders change, actually, it's quite nice. And only just the arcade mode. Ah. Yeah, because a lot of people will often say, oh, it will often use a comparison and say, well, visually the PS1 version looks better, so it's rubbish. And then, but not actually say, oh, but the Saturn version's got all these extra modes. The other one that hates me is whenever anyone mentions Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I loathe that. Anyone who uses that as a comparison video does not understand that game. That version on the Saturn was developed by an inexperienced Konami team. It's an interesting one. I think the developers of Toshinden didn't quite... It wasn't Virtua Fighters. Virtua Fighters, so if you play say Super Sega, I highly recommend Virtua Fighters 2. It's a flawless 3D fighter even now. In fact, it's probably the best outing in the series, Virtua Fighters. It's flawless. It's got no collision issues or anything. Toshinden was developed by a team that didn't quite get fighting games, so the collision's not quite right and the animation's a bit funky. Yeah, so we this definitely does look like either a guy coming home from trying to come home from work in a crime-filled city, or as you said, basically going for his grocery shopping. Yeah, you've got to get down, go through the neighbouring skyscraper to or tower block. It does look a bit like a pretty grim London tower block, I have to admit. Or Manchester one, or wherever you are in New York, wherever you are in the world. I think you're supposed to be infiltrating some enemy base, but it's just... It doesn't feel like you're a spy with the look of the character. I mean, no doubt or maybe even a Japanese... Probably loosely based on a Japanese tower block. I imagine it was... I'd like to know what the inspiration was, because I assume it was probably based on a film or something. A lot of the early arcade games are sort of film inspired. Oh, there's definitely more of them. Right, I'm down to 11 now. I've got 1 life, so I'm doing quite well. Yeah. Last Bronx is really good fun on Saturn as well, as is Fighters Megamix. They're definitely the premium tier 3D fighting games. Oh, crouch! Oh, it's that double lift thing again. There's a thing... Jump. There's a thing, so in case you don't know, some of these have a double lift thing, and if they have a double lift, move, I want to, come on. Oh, yeah, you can't crouch. Oh. Okay, right, we're nearly there. Just as a heads up, guys. Oh, yes, okay. Right, I'm getting quite nervous there. I can feel it because I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. No. Stop shooting me. Stop spawning. Yeah, the enemies are spawning much quicker now. I've got to be really careful. Oh! Oh! So close yet so far. Yeah, Last Brings and Mega Mix are fantastic. And Zero Divide's really good as well. I don't know if you played that, Nicodian Art. I highly recommend Zero Divide, The Final Conflict. Of all the Japanese-only 3D fighters, I highly recommend Zero Divide. Final Conflict is the best. Interestingly, you can't shoot the lights when it's... you can actually... That's interesting. You can actually do like a walk-on by them. Nip in there. Okay, guys, this is probably going to be my last run, so let's see how far I can get before I... Just said the original... I mean, it's a nice collection of actually get the second game and the original arcade game. Oh, we just passed there on the elevators, me and the bad guy. Oh, we got crushed. That's quite nice to see. The AI is quite... You can get itself bumped off this, which is quite nice in the game. That it's not just you who has to worry about how the lifts move. I do like the fact they go into shadow as well. It's got some really... I know this is a really early game. It's got some really nice mechanics, but it's really, really tough. And it's interesting to compare this because you have both games on this. Basically, although the Elevator Action Return basically comes with both games, so I kind of see it as an Elevator Action collection. It's really interesting to see the changes. I mean, no doubt Returns is vastly, vastly better. I prefer. But it's just nice to see how this plays in comparison. Okay, right, so I can actually sneak... Oh, he shot me. Ah, so they actually... The gun... The bullet shot actually comes out from them. It actually comes out the hits thing. You can't... Oh, just! I thought that was a goner there. You can walk past them. Now those double lifts are a bit of a pain because I have actually beaten this, at least got to the second round. This just is one of those games that just gets harder and harder. It's just like, yeah, this is not... I'm not always a big fan of these old school... Yeah, Last Bronx is definitely one of the most visually impressive Sega Saturn games 3D-wise because it's got all the weapon combat. It's probably the closest thing to Soul Calibur as well. Right, I'm probably risking fate a bit here. Yeah, I was. Probably should let them come. I'm going to give it one last shot and then I'm going to wrap this stream up, guys, just as a heads up. So this is it. This will be my final run and then I'll wrap this stream up. See, we've done about 2 hours. We've probably done about 30 minutes of this original game and about an hour and a half of Elevator Action Returns. It is a nice collection. It includes, as I said, it includes both games. You unlock this one by either the cheat code that I cheekily entered in earlier, or you can unlock it by finishing Elevator Action 2 Returns if you want to get it the proper way. And once you've unlocked it, it stays as well. Game does save your scores. There's not, other than Elevator Action, this is the only thing to unlock. It was actually a budget title in Japan when it was released. Saturn magazine said about it when it originally UK mentioned about it and actually reviewed it. Yeah, I'd say Last Bronx is probably the closest game you'll get to Soul Calibur in terms of how it plays, because the Shinden doesn't quite play anywhere near as good as Soul Edge. Or Soul Blade as it got renamed thanks to the infamous paint and trolling of on the word Edge. Yeah, Fighting Vipers is also very good, although I think Last Bronx for me is probably slightly better. And yeah, I agree with Nicodian R. The Japanese version is by far the best version. It came on a second disc. Oh, I'm going to give this one last try. What's interesting about the Dreamcast port of Fighting Vipers is it's far from arcade perfect. So guys, just one last... just to say, remember to hit that like button if you're enjoying this stream, and I think everyone's probably hit it here. And if you also do remember to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I think we've passed our peak on this video now. This will be my final run. Oh, you can walk past them that way. But yeah, the Last Bronx in Japan, the Japanese version is an additional disc, so it has a whole tutorial disc. It's a little bit tricky to understand a few bits on the tutorial disc, but it's much easier to unlock content. The Western version of Last Bronx had the difficulty ramped up so much it's unplayable almost. It's just impossible to one credit clear anything. In fact, I think the Western version is... In fact, I think because there's a hidden gallery, but it's just a nightmare to unlock in the Western version. You have to 1cc the game. The difficulty of the AI in the Western version just gets ridiculous. It just reacts to your moves, so it's that type of AI that's... Whereas the Japanese version's much balanced, much more fairer. And basically there's a hidden bonus stage if you can beat all the characters on one credit where you go to the Glimmering Room. Yeah, the second disc is really quite a wacky thing, and it really is wonderful to see. It's what's weird is the fact they did that for a fighting game, and you get like all the backstory and everything, and there's load. It makes the training mode is a lot more advanced in the Japanese version, because although it's included in the Western version, a lot of it was stripped out, of course, because you had a lot of the voice acting that they didn't use in the... it's quite heavily voice acted as well, that training disc, with all, like you said, the Chilby characters. And the back just gives you a bit of a backstory and everything, so it's a really nice double package, the Japanese version. I have unlocked Odd Eye on both versions. I think it's slightly easier on the Japanese version, as you only need to watch everything via the tutorial disc. You don't need to beat the game, whereas the Western version you have to beat the game on Last Bronx. Okay, I can feel my voice going, guys, so this is going to be it for me. Right, hopefully, yeah. Oh, you can squeeze past them to dodge. Oh, I should have jumped. I should have jumped. So I'll either be streaming a really common Saturn game tomorrow, or I'll be streaming something very unusual. Okay, I have been bested by both games, although I probably... Yeah, there are some... Twinkle Star Spirits as well has a brilliant fan disc as well. In fact, there are quite a few Saturn games that actually, if you put the CD into the drive, well, actually in a PC, you can read, you'll find like OMEG files in them with illustrious art and everything. No, it's not that hard, Nicodian. You only need to watch the tutorial video. You only need to watch all the character tutorial videos, and then he unlocks. You don't need to do anything on the main disc. You just need to... it's just not documented that well. I found quite a few Japanese cheat sites that when you translate them detail how you unlock him. Basically, you just need to watch... basically, on the training disc, there's like a backstory intro, or they chat to you. You just need to watch all of them, and then he appears. You have to... So it's not that hard. I've actually unlocked him. Or at least I didn't find him. I mean, there may be some... It could be some weird scenario for unlocking him that makes him quite a bit harder, but I didn't find him that hard. And I think that's what I did. I just watched one of the modes in the thingy mode. I just watched it, and he managed to unlock. I think we've got the comedy weapons as well, which were much, much easier to unlock. Okay, guys. I'm going to wrap up here. So, I'm going to say Rep Lawyer, Nicodian R, Super Saturn 55. Who else did we have on stream? We had Sega Saturn Z, and we had someone else, didn't we? I think someone right at the start. Everyone, thanks for being on stream. Great chatting to you guys. It really is. Thanks for all the info on Hertz as well, Nicodian. That was interesting to know about KO2. So Clockwork Knight 2, I need to check on Hertz speed, and KO2, I need to check on the end of the voiceovers at the end of a stage. I'm gonna have got more stuff to check out in every version, I think. But yes, thanks for chatting, guys. Brilliant to have a good chat. As always, just before you finish off, if you haven't already hit that like button, please do hit that like button. But I expect everyone has done who's here. This has been Elevator Action Returns, a very good arcade title that was ported to Sega Saturn, and this also includes the original Elevator Action. It is very expensive on Saturn these days. It's probably best buying the collections, although I would say that the collections are a lot cheaper, so even if the emulation isn't always perfect, although the PS2 version is slightly better emulation as it was done by Taito than the Xbox version, which was a pretty grimly emulated. It was Taito Memories 2 it's on. But yes, that's it, everyone. I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you all for joining me on this stream. Great chatting to you guys as well. Really good fun, actually. It's always nice to chat to you guys. We will probably have another Saturn game tomorrow. I'm not sure what yet, but I will let you know in due course. Keep an eye on the... if you drop by about 5 o'clock UK time, I will definitely have it up in the community page by then, or at least on the site. I will also should have a video on Scythe up tomorrow as well, which I should have got up today, and Twin D Time Attack, which is some nice hidden games on Tokyo Memory, and I've got a few other playthroughs to do as well. So thank you all for watching, guys. It's been brilliant chatting. I'm going to wrap it up there. I will wish you all a good night, a good evening, a good afternoon, or a good morning wherever you are in the world. And I will say goodbye from now and have a good night, everyone. See you all tomorrow. Remember, we'll be back 9:30. I'll be back again 9:30 tomorrow to stream. Thanks, everyone. Great chatting to you all.